Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. I'd like to have some fun today and take you on a journey and tell you a story, a parable, and within this story, to unlock powerful lessons to allow you to create the reality that you desire. Lessons in Imagination, Aarav's Journey. In the heart of an ancient, mystical land, where the whispers of wisdom float on the wind, and the trees murmur ancient secrets, the story of a young seeker named Aarav begins. Beneath a sky painted with the fiery hues of dawn, Aarav stood at the edge of the village of eternal harmony. His eyes, bright with the thirst for knowledge, scanned the horizon where the fabled mountains of enlightenment kissed the heavens. Clad in simple garb, the fabric worn by the whispers of countless tales, he took a deep breath, tasting the air laden with the scent of ancient pines and timeless mysteries. In this land revered for its spiritual teachings, the pursuit of enlightenment was not just a journey, it was a destiny, calling out to those brave enough to listen. And Aarav, with a heart ablaze with yearning, listened intently. From a tender age, the tales of great sages and their celestial wisdom had been his lullabies, sung by his grandmother under the starlit canvas of night. These stories weren't mere fables to him. They were beacons, guiding him towards a path he felt destined to tread. But the journey to enlightenment was not for the faint-hearted. It demanded more than just the eagerness of a youthful spirit. It required an unyielding resolve to face the unknown. And as Aarav gazed at the winding path leading into the dense, whispering forest that served as the gateway to the mountains, he felt a strong stirring within, a mix of excitement and trepidation. He had heard of the mentor who resided at the pinnacle of the mountains, a sage of unparalleled wisdom, known as Master Li. Many sought his teachings, but only a few were deemed worthy. Aarav knew the road to finding Master Li would be fraught with challenges that would test his body, mind, and spirit. Yet he also knew that this was the path he was meant to walk. With a final glance at the village that had cradled his childhood, Aarav stepped forward, his feet crunching softly on the path strewn with golden leaves. The journey of 1,000 miles towards enlightenment, towards destiny, had begun with this single determined step. Chapter 1. The Search for a Mentor. In the soft light of dawn, Aarav set forth on his journey, the ancient path beneath his feet leading him deeper into the heart of the mystical land. The air was crisp, filled with the murmurs of the forest, as if the trees themselves were whispering secrets of ages past. He knew his destination lay high in the mountains of enlightenment, but the path to Master Li, the sage he sought, was shrouded in mystery. As he journeyed, Aarav pondered the stories he had heard of Master Li. They spoke of a mentor whose wisdom was as vast as the oceans, and whose insight could illuminate the darkest corners of one's soul. In his heart, Aarav believed that Master Li was the guide he needed to unearth the truths he so deeply craved. The first leg of this journey brought him into the river of reflections, where it was said that one's innermost thoughts mirrored upon the water's surface. Here, Aarav encountered a group of pilgrims, each seeking their own truths. Conversations with them deepened his understanding of the varied paths to enlightenment and the importance of a guide, a mentor. One elder pilgrim said, is not just a teacher, but a beacon in the uncharted waters of the soul. Continuing his journey, Aarav traversed through the dense forest and over rugged hills, each step bringing new insights and challenges. He met many travelers, some who had turned back from their own quests, disheartened. Their stories impressed upon him the value of persistence and the need for a wise hand to guide through spiritual complexities. As days turned to weeks, Aarav's journey took him to the village of Whispers, a place known for its ancient library. Here, he delved into texts of old, learning from the wisdom of sages long gone. The scrolls and tomes spoke of life's impermanence, the illusion of the material world, and the eternal quest for inner peace. Aarav's mind expanded, soaking in the teachings, but his heart yearned for the personal touch of a mentor. It was in the village that Aarav heard of the Cave of Echoes, a sacred place where it was said the voice of one's true self could be heard. With renewed determination, Aarav set off for this cave, believing it to be his final stop before reaching the mountains of enlightenment. Inside the Cave of Echoes, Aarav's voice reverberated off the walls, each echo a reflection of his inner thoughts and doubts. Here in the solitude of echoing stone, Aarav confronted his fears and desires, his voice becoming a tool for self-exploration. It was a powerful experience, one that taught him the importance of self-understanding on the spiritual path. Emerging from the cave, Aarav felt a sense of clarity. He realized that the journey to find a mentor was not just about seeking another's wisdom, but also about understanding oneself. Each step, each encounter had been a lesson in itself, preparing him for the guidance he sought from Master Li. With the peaks of the mountains of enlightenment now in sight, Aarav continued his ascent. The path was steep and treacherous, but his resolve was unwavering. He knew that the journey was as important as the destination, and the mentor he sought was not just a teacher, but a key to unlocking the wisdom that lay within him. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the mountains, Aarav reached the summit. There, silhouetted against the twilight sky, stood an old, serene figure, gazing out into the horizon. Aarav's heart raced with anticipation and reverence. His journey had led him here, to the mentor he had long sought, Master Li. Chapter 2: The Meeting of Minds. As Aarav approached the figure silhouetted against the fading light, his heart was a tumult of emotions: anticipation, reverence, and a trace of fear. Master Li the sage, as ancient as the mountains themselves, stood with a presence that seemed to blend with the natural world around him. His eyes, deep and knowing, met Aarav's with a gaze that seemed to pierce into the depths of his soul. "Master Li," Aarav began, his voice barely above a whisper, resonating with the respect he held for the sage. "I have journeyed far and braved many challenges to seek your wisdom." Master Li regarded Aarav with a quiet, almost imperceptible nod. "Many seek wisdom, young traveler, but few are ready to embrace its burdens," he replied, his voice echoing the tranquility of the mountains. Aarav's heart sank as he sensed a reluctance in Master Li's words. He knew he had to persuade the master of his sincerity and readiness. "I am willing to embrace all that wisdom entails," he said earnestly. "I seek not just knowledge but understanding of myself, of the world, and of the truths that lie beyond." Master Li remained silent, his gaze fixed on the horizon, where the last light of day met the coming night. Aarav waited, the silence between them as profound as the words unspoken. Finally, Master Li spoke. "To seek wisdom is to embark on a journey without end. Aarav, are you prepared for a path that offers no return to the simplicity of former beliefs?" With determination, Aarav replied, "I am, Master, for in simplicity I found questions. Now I seek the answers, however complex." Master Li then posed a challenge to Aarav. "Return here at dawn with something that signifies your readiness to learn, to change, and to grow." Only then will I consider your request." The night passed, as Aarav pondered Master Li's words. He understood that the challenge was not about bringing a physical object, but something much deeper. As dawn painted the sky with new light, Aarav returned to Master Li, holding in his hands a small uprooted sapling. "This sapling," Aarav explained, "represents my current state, eager to grow but in need of guidance to find its true potential. I am like this sapling, Master Li. Teach me. And like this tree, I will grow, grounded in the wisdom you impart." Master Li observed the sapling, and then Aarav, a slight smile appearing on his age-worn face. "You have brought more than just a sapling, Aarav. You have brought humility, a willingness to learn, and the recognition of the need for guidance. You have earned your first lesson." Aarav's heart swelled with gratitude and hope. Master Li's acceptance was not just a permission to learn, it was an affirmation of Aarav's commitment to his spiritual journey. Master Li began to impart his teachings, starting with the fundamental truths of existence, the interconnectedness of all life, and the importance of living with mindfulness and compassion. Each word, each lesson, was a thread in the tapestry of wisdom that Aarav sought to weave into his being. Chapter 3: Overcoming Fears. In the early hours of dawn, as the first light of the sun began to chase away the shadows of the night, Master Li led Aarav to the edge of Whispers, a cliff that overlooked a vast, mist-covered valley. It was a place where it was said one could hear the echoes of their deepest fears. "Fear," Master Li began, his voice steady and calm, "is the greatest barrier to wisdom. To overcome fear is to free oneself for the journey of enlightenment." Aarav, standing at the cliff's edge, felt a knot of apprehension tighten in his stomach. Heights had always been his secret fear, a fact he had never shared with anyone. Master Li, with his perceptive gaze, seemed to see right through him. "Your first challenge," Master Li said, "is to stand at the edge and confront the fear that binds your spirit." Aarav approached the cliff's edge, his heart pounding in his chest. As he looked down into the abyss, the mist seemed to swirl into images, visions of his past fears, insecurities, and doubts. He saw himself as a young boy, frightened and unsure, a stark contrast to the seeker of wisdom he aspired to become. With Master Li's gentle guidance, Aarav began to voice his fears, giving them shape and form in the open air. As he spoke, the visions in the mist began to dissipate, and with each spoken fear, Aarav felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. The next challenge took them to the Forest of Shadows, a dense woodland where the light of day barely penetrated the thick canopy. Here, Aarav's task was to navigate through the forest alone, confronting the fear of the unknown and the darkness that lays within. As Aarav ventured deeper into the forest, the shadows seemed to play tricks on his mind, conjuring fears both real and imagined. The sounds of the forest, the rustle of the leaves, the distant howl of a creature, all served to heighten his sense of vulnerability. Yet as he continued, guided by the lessons of mindfulness and presence Master Li had imparted, Aarav found a sense of peace amidst the uncertainty. He realized that many of his fears were creations of his mind, shadows without substance. The final challenge brought Aarav to the Hall of Mirrors, a cavern where the walls were lined with reflective crystals. Here, Aarav was confronted with the most daunting task of all, facing himself. The mirrors reflected not just his physical form, but glimpses of his inner self, his doubts, his flaws, and his unfulfilled aspirations. Confronted with these reflections, Aarav experienced a turmoil of emotions, shame, regret, and self-doubt. But as he moved through the cavern, guided by Master Li's wisdom, he began to accept and embrace each aspect of himself. He learned to view his weaknesses not as failings, but as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Emerging from the Hall of Mirrors, Aarav felt a profound sense of liberation. He had faced his fears not by defeating them in battle, but by understanding and accepting them. In doing so, he had taken a significant step in his spiritual journey, learning that true courage lay in facing one's fears, not in avoiding them. Chapter 4. Aiming for the Stars. As the first light of dawn painted the sky with the palette of pastels, Master Li led Aarav to the summit of visions, a place renowned for its breathtaking view of the starlit sky fading into the morning light. Here, among the whispers of the wind and the quietude of the heavens, the lesson of the day was to be imparted. True wisdom, Master Li began, as they gazed up at the lingering stars, is not just in knowing the world, but in understanding one's place within it. To aim for the stars is to set your vision beyond the horizons of the ordinary. Aarav listened intently, his eyes fixed on the fading constellations. He had always dreamed of achieving great things, but the path to those dreams often seemed shrouded in mists of doubt and uncertainty. Master Li presented Aarav with a challenge. To reach for the stars, you must first know which star you wish to grasp. Define your goal, Aarav. Make it as clear as the North Star in the night sky. Aarav reflected deeply, sifting through his aspirations and desires. After a time of contemplative silence, he spoke. My goal is to attain enlightenment, to fully understand and live by the wisdom of the ages. An admirable goal, indeed, Master Li responded. But remember, lofty goals require not only clarity, but also unwavering perseverance. The path to enlightenment, like the journey to the stars, is long and fraught with obstacles. To illustrate this, Master Li guided Aarav to the ancient path of trials, a winding trail that led through various terrains, each representing a step towards achieving one's goals. The first was a steep climb, symbolizing the initial effort and determination needed to pursue a dream. Aarav tackled the climb with vigor, feeling the burn in his muscles as a testament to his commitment. Next came a dense forest, symbolizing confusion and the loss of direction that often accompanies the pursuit of significant aspirations. Aarav navigated the forest carefully, using the skills of mindfulness and presence he had learned, reminding himself of his ultimate goal whenever he felt lost. As the day waned, they reached a vast desert, its endless sands a metaphor for the periods of stagnation and doubt that challenge one's perseverance. Aarav trudged through the sands, feeling the weight of each step, his mind filled with thoughts of giving up. But with Master Li's encouragement, he remembered his goal, pushing through the fatigue and doubt. Finally, as the sun dipped below the horizon, they arrived back at the summit of visions. Aarav, exhausted yet exhilarated, had a newfound understanding of his journey towards enlightenment. He realized that aiming for the stars was not just about dreaming big, but also about the resilience and persistence needed to turn those dreams into reality. Master Li smiled. You've learned well today, Aarav. Remember, the stars are not just celestial bodies, they are symbols of our highest aspirations. To reach them requires more than just a wish. It requires a clear vision, unwavering dedication, and the perseverance to overcome the many challenges along the way. Chapter 5. The Power of Imagination. The day began with an air of mystery as Master Li led Aarav to the Garden of Dreams, a mystical place said to be a bridge between the physical world and the realm of imagination. The garden, vibrant with colors that seemed to dance in the light, was a testament to the boundless possibilities of the mind. Imagination, Master Li began, his voice echoing softly in the serene ambiance of the garden, is not mere fantasy. It is a powerful tool to shape reality. What the mind can envision, the spirit can manifest. Aarav, surrounded by the ethereal beauty of the garden, felt a sense of wonder stirring within him. He had always considered imagination as a flight of fancy, not a force that could shape his path to enlightenment. Master Li guided Aarav to a tranquil pond in the heart of the garden. In its surface, smooth as glass. Look into the water, he instructed, and envision your deepest desire for enlightenment. Let your imagination give form to your vision. As Aarav gazed into the pond, he closed his eyes, allowing his mind to paint a vivid picture of his journey. In his mind's eye, he saw himself walking a path lit by the golden light of wisdom, surrounded by the peaceful energy of enlightenment. He saw himself overcoming obstacles with grace and understanding, each step forward a testament to his growth. When Aarav opened his eyes, the surface of the pond reflected not just his physical form, but also the luminous path he had imagined. The vision, though fleeting, left him in awe of the power of his mind. Master Li then presented Aarav with a challenge. The garden is your canvas, Aarav. Use your imagination to create something that symbolizes your journey. Aarav walked through the garden, deeply immersed in thought. He began to visualize a tree, its roots representing his foundation in spiritual teachings, the trunk symbolizing his journey, and the branches reaching upwards, embodying his aspiration towards enlightenment. As he focused on this image, the garden around him began to shift subtly, responding to the power of his imagination. A sapling sprouted from the ground, growing rapidly into a magnificent tree, just as he had envisioned. The tree you have created, Master Li observed, is a manifestation of your inner vision. It shows that what you can conceive in your mind, you can bring into reality. Aarav stood in awe, realizing the profound impact of his thoughts and imagination. He understood that his vision for enlightenment was not just a distant dream, but a reality that he could shape through the power of his imagination. The lesson of the day was clear. Imagination was not just a tool for creation, but a powerful ally in the journey of life. It had the capacity to transform aspirations into reality, to shape the unseen, and to mold the path of one's spiritual journey. In the ethereal light of the Garden of Dreams, Aarav sat beneath the tree he had envisioned, its leaves whispering the secrets of the universe. Master Li's voice broke the silence. The tree is but the first step, Aarav. The power of imagination extends far beyond into the realms of manifesting tangible realities. Master Li led Aarav to a different part of the garden, an open space that was a blank canvas for creation. Here, he said, you will learn to manifest not just symbols, but physical objects, events, and even alterations in reality. Aarav listened intently as Master Li explained the principle of manifestation. To manifest, he said, one must first clearly envision the desired outcome with every detail, then infuse that vision with the energy of intention and belief, and feel that vision as if it is true and real. Finally, release it into the universe with the trust that it will materialize. The first exercise was simple. Master Li asked Aarav to visualize a flower down to its last petal and scent. Aarav closed his eyes, picturing a vibrant blue lotus, its petals unfolding gracefully. He focused on the image, pouring his intention into it, feeling the flower in his hand. When he opened his eyes, he was astonished to see the blue lotus, exactly as he had imagined, blooming in the garden before him. Encouraged by his success, Aarav's exercises grew more complex. He envisioned events, such as the arrival of a rare bird in the garden, and to his amazement, it occurred as he had visualized. With each exercise, Aarav's confidence in his ability to manifest grew. Master Li then guided Aarav to a more profound lesson, altering the fabric of a reality. This, Master Li cautioned, requires utmost discipline and a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. Aarav's challenge was to alter the flow of a small stream in the garden. He sat by the stream, meditating deeply, aligning his intention with the natural world. Slowly, he envisioned the stream's course changing, visualizing every stone and bend it would encounter. As his concentration deepened, the stream began to flow along new paths he had envisioned, a testament to the incredible power of focused imagination. The final lesson of the day was about the responsibility that came with his power. With the ability to manifest, Master Li imparted, comes the duty to do so wisely. One must always consider the greater good and the balance of the natural order. As the sun set on the Garden of Dreams, Aarav reflected on the day's lessons. He had learned that his imagination was a gateway to infinite possibilities, a tool to shape not just his spiritual journey but the very reality around him. He understood that with this power came a great responsibility, to use it for positive change and in harmony with the universe. In the twilight embrace of the Garden of Dreams, as Aarav marveled at the wonders he had manifested, Master Li's voice turned solemn, introducing a cautionary note to the day's teachings. "Aarav," he said, "while imagination is a powerful tool for creation and transformation, it also harbors a darker aspect. It is a double-edged sword that, if wielded carelessly, can lead to harm and destruction." Master Li led Aarav to a secluded part of the garden where the atmosphere seemed heavier, the air tinged with a subtle unease. "Here," he explained, "you will learn about the darker side of imagination and the sacred duty of using it with love and responsibility." The first lesson was about the manifestation of fear and negativity. Negative thoughts, Master Li explained, are as potent as positive ones. They too can manifest into reality, bringing forth events and circumstances that mirror these dark imaginings. To demonstrate this, Master Li asked Aarav to recall a fear and visualize it taking form. Reluctantly, Aarav imagined a storm, dark and destructive. As his thoughts gave shape to the storm in his mind, the sky above, the Garden of Dreams, began to cloud over and a chill wind started to howl. Aarav was shocked to see his negative thoughts manifesting so tangibly. "Now dispel the storm with the thoughts of peace and calm," instructed Master Li. Aarav focused, channeling thoughts of serenity and balance. Gradually, the skies cleared and the garden returned to its state of harmony. This exercise left a profound impact on Aarav, teaching him the powerful effect of his thoughts and the importance of steering them towards positivity. Next, they delved deeper into the ethical aspects of imagination. Master Li spoke of scenarios where imagination could be misused to manipulate, control, or harm others. Imagination used without love and respect for others can lead to selfishness and destruction. It can upset the balance of nature and bring about unintended consequences. To illustrate the importance of ethical imagination, Master Li narrated tales of ancient sages who, in moments of weakness, had allowed their imagination to be tainted by personal desires, leading to suffering for themselves and others. These stories underscored the responsibility that came with the power to shape reality. The greatest safeguard against the misuse of imagination, Master Li concluded, is love. Love for oneself, for others, and for the world. When imagination is guided by love, it becomes a force for healing, growth, and positive change. Chapter 6. Letting Go of the Past. As dawn broke over the mountains of enlightenment, Aarav joined Master Li at the banks of the River of Memories, a gently flowing stream said to have the power to reflect one's past. The air was cool and crisp, the sky a tapestry of soft oranges and pinks. Today's lesson, Master Li had explained, was one of the most crucial of the path to enlightenment, the art of letting go. Your past, Master Li began, is as reflecting the calm of the river, is both a teacher and a chain. To learn from its wisdom, to be bound by it, is a barrier to growth. Aarav was guided to the water's edge, where he was asked to gaze into the river and allow his past to surface in his mind's eye. As he looked into the flowing water, visions of the past began to appear, moments of joy and triumph, but also of pain, regret, and sorrow. He saw himself as a child, experiencing the first pangs of loss and fear, and as a young man grappling with the failures and disappointments. Master Li watched silently as Aarav confronted his past. To move forward on your path, you must first release these chains. Acknowledge your past, learn from it, but do not let it hold sway over your present or future. The first step, Master Li explained, was forgiveness of others and of oneself. He instructed Aarav to pick up a stone for each painful memory and throw it into the river as a symbolic act of letting go. With each stone thrown, Aarav felt a weight lifting. He forgave those who had wronged him, understanding that holding on to resentment only poisoned his own spirit. More importantly, he forgave himself for his perceived failures and mistakes, recognizing them as essential steps in his journey of growth. As the sun climbed higher, Master Li led Aarav through a meditation focused on living in the present. The present, he said, is like this river, ever flowing, ever changing. Embrace it fully, for it is the only reality. Sitting beside the river of memories, Aarav practiced mindfulness, anchoring his thoughts to the present moment. He felt the warmth of the sun, the cool breeze on his skin, the gentle sound of water flowing, each sensation a reminder of the beauty of the now. The day's lesson culminated in a powerful exercise. Master Li asked Aarav to plant a tree beside the river, symbolizing his commitment to living in the present. As Aarav placed the sapling in the earth, he made it a vow to nurture it, a metaphor for nurturing the present moments of his life. Chapter 7. The Flow of NonResistance. The morning found Aarav and Master Li at the base of the Whispering Falls, a place where the water flowed with such grace and ease that it seemed untouched by the rocks and cliffs that shaped its course. The falls, Master Li explained, were a perfect embodiment of the art of non-resistance. As the water does not resist its path, but adapts and flows around obstacles, so too must you learn the art of non-resistance, Master Li said, his voice blending with the symphony of the cascading water. Aarav watched the water, noting how it effortlessly found its way around stones and crevices, its flow uninterrupted by the obstacles in its path. The lesson was clear. The path of least resistance was not one of avoidance, but of acceptance and adaptability. Master Li led Aarav to a series of stepping stones across the river that led the falls. Your task, he said, is to cross to the other side. With each step, practice the art of non-resistance. Accept the placement of each stone, adapt your balance and movement, and find the easiest path across. Aarav began cautiously, trying to find the best foothold on each slippery stone. He quickly realized that resisting the nature of the stones, wishing they were placed differently or drier, only made his crossing more difficult. When he shifted his approach, accepting each stone as it was and adapting his balance and steps accordingly, he found a rhythm and ease in his movement. He was embodying the very essence of non-resistance. The next lesson took place at a small farm near the falls, where Aarav was tasked with guiding a herd of sheep through the field. The sheep, with their own wills and whims, represented life's unpredictabilities and challenges. Aarav learned that by not resisting the sheep's tendencies, but rather understanding and working with them, he could guide them more effectively. This exercise taught him that non-resistance also applied to dealing with people and situations in life. As they returned to the falls, Master Li elaborated on the deeper implications of non-resistance. Non-resistance, he said, is not passivity. It is active engagement with life, but from a place of acceptance and peace. It's about aligning with the flow of life rather than struggling against it. The day's final exercise was a meditation under the falls, where Aarav was to let the water flow over him without resistance. As the cool water cascaded over his body, he felt a profound sense of surrender and peace. He realized that by not resisting the water, by simply letting it flow, he was in harmony with it. And this harmony brought a deep sense of connection with the world around him. Chapter 8. Surmounting Obstacles. The dawn of a new day brought with it an unexpected turn in Aarav's journey. As he and Master Li prepared for the day's lesson, a messenger arrived with news that shook Aarav to his core. His home village, the village of eternal harmony, had suffered a devastating flood, leaving many in dire need. The news hit Aarav like a physical blow. His heart ached at the thought of his family and friends in distress. Master Li saw the turmoil in Aarav's eyes. This, he said gently, is your greatest obstacle yet, and also your most profound opportunity. Torn between his duty to his village and his spiritual journey, Aarav felt an overwhelming sense of helplessness. Master Li counseled him, in every obstacle there is a hidden path to growth. To surmount it, you must first embrace it. With a heavy heart, Aarav decided to return to his village to offer help. The journey back was arduous, filled with reflections on the impermanence of life and the unpredictable nature of the world. As he reached his village, the sight that greeted him was heart-wrenching. Yet amidst the chaos and despair, Aarav found a wellspring of strength within him. He worked tirelessly, helping to rebuild homes, comforting the grieving, and organizing relief efforts. Each day presented new challenges, but Aarav met them with resilience he had never known he possessed. He realized that the lessons he had learned from Master Li, mindfulness, acceptance, non-resistance, were instrumental in helping him transform this calamity into a chance to strengthen and unite his community. One evening, as Aarav sat amidst the ruins of what once was his childhood playground, he understood the profound lesson of this experience. Obstacles, no matter how daunting, were opportunities in disguise. This setback had not only tested his resilience, but had also allowed him to apply his spiritual learnings in a real-world scenario, making a tangible difference in the lives of others. Master Li arrived a few days later to see the progress Aarav had made. He found a village not defeated by adversity, but revitalized by unity and hope. Seeing Aarav amidst his people offering comfort and leadership, Master Li knew that Aarav had learned this lesson well. The obstacle in your path, Master Li said, became the path itself. You have turned despair into hope, and in doing so, have grown more than you realize. Chapter 9. The Power of Affirmations. After Aarav's return from the Temple of the Eternal Flame, Master Li discerned that while Aarav had grown immensely on his journey, there was still an essential element he needed to fully integrate his lessons, the power of affirmations. These were to be the mantras that would fortify Aarav's spirit and embed the wisdom of his experiences deep within his psyche. One serene morning, as the first light of dawn bathed the Garden of Dreams in a soft glow, Master Li and Aarav sat facing each other. The air was filled with the gentle sound of the morning birds, and the world seemed to be in a state of tranquil awakening. Affirmations and mantras, Master Li began, are more than mere words. They are tools of transformation, keys to reshaping your reality from within. They are the daily reminders of your journey, your growth, and your connection to the universe. Master Li then imparted to Aarav a series of affirmations, each one a distillation of the lessons and truths Aarav had encountered. He explained how each affirmation was to be used, not just as a statement, but as a meditation, a focus for Aarav's thoughts and intentions. Repeat this when you feel disconnected, Master Li said, to remind yourself of your place in the web of life. I am a part of the interconnected web of life. My actions ripple with purpose and meaning. Use this in the moments of anxiety or fear to bring yourself back to the present. With each breath, I inhale peace and exhale fear. I am anchored in the present moment. This will help you see challenges as opportunities for growth, he explained about the third. I embrace my journey with an open heart and a resilient spirit. Each challenge is a stepping stone to greater wisdom. Master Li continued with more affirmations. In the face of obstacles, I find innovative paths. My creativity is boundless and my potential limitless. I release the past with gratitude for its lessons. I move forward with lightness and clarity. My imagination is a powerful force for good. I use it to shape a positive and harmonious reality. I flow with life's currents. not against them. Acceptance and adaptability are my strengths. In stillness, I connect deeply with the wisdom of the universe. My intuition is my guide. I am a vessel of love and compassion. My words and actions bring healing and unity. And I stand firm in my values and convictions. My determination is unwavering, and my spirit indomitable. And so it went, with each affirmation tailored to a specific aspect of Aarav's journey in personal growth. Master Li instructed Aarav to practice these affirmations daily, to let them seep into his subconscious and to allow them to guide his thoughts and actions. And as the sun rose higher, casting its warm light over them, Aarav recited each affirmation slowly, deliberately, feeling the power of each word resonate within him. He could feel a shift within, a strengthening of his resolve and a deepening of his understanding. The session of learning and reflection was a quiet but profound period for Aarav. He realized that these were not just sentences to be spoken, but were reflections of his journey, each one a beacon guiding him towards a living life of mindfulness, resilience, and compassion. Chapter 10. Unwavering Determination. In the wake of the flood, as the village of Eternal Harmony began to find its footing against Master Li, presented Aarav with one final challenge, a test of his resolve and commitment to his spiritual journey. The path to enlightenment, Master Li explained, requires an unwavering determination, a steadfastness that endures regardless of the trials and tribulations one faces. For this final test, Aarav was to undertake a solitary pilgrimage to the Temple of the Eternal Flame, a sacred site located at the peak of the highest mountain, a place few had ever reached. The journey was known to be incredibly arduous, fraught with physical and mental challenges that would test even the most resolute of spirits. As Aarav embarked on this pilgrimage, he carried with him the lessons, affirmations, and experiences of his journey thus far. The path was indeed treacherous, with steep climbs, treacherous terrains, and unpredictable weather. There were moments when Aarav felt his strength waning, his resolve faltering. The weight of solitude weighed heavily on him, and the sheer difficulty of the trek tested his limits. Yet with each step, Aarav drew upon the inner strength he had cultivated. He remembered the resilience he had shown in the face of the flood, the calmness he had maintained in the Garden of Dreams, and the courage he had found at the Edge of Whispers. Each memory, each lesson bolstered his determination. Halfway through the journey, Aarav encountered a seemingly insurmountable obstacle, a vast chasm that cut across his path, too wide to jump across and too deep to climb down. For a moment he stood there, daunted, but then he recalled Master Li's teachings about the power of imagination and the importance of seeing obstacles as opportunities. Aarav closed his eyes, envisioning a bridge spanning the chasm. When he opened them, the chasm remained unchanged. It was then he realized the true meaning of the exercise. The bridge was not to be found in his imagination, but in his ingenuity and resourcefulness. With renewed vigor, Aarav gathered materials from the surrounding environment. Drawing on his skills he had learned during his time in the village, constructed a makeshift bridge, successfully crossing the chasm. As days turned into weeks, Aarav continued his ascent. His body was weary, but his spirit was unyielding. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, he reached the Temple of the Eternal Flame. The temple, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, was a sight of awe-inspiring beauty and serenity. Here, at the pinnacle of his journey, Aarav meditated beside the Eternal Flame. Reflecting on his journey, he had faced trials that tested his body, mind, and spirit, but his determination had remained unbroken. He had learned that unwavering determination was not just a force that propelled one forward, but also an anchor that kept one steady in the face of adversity. Conclusion. Enlightenment achieved. As Aarav descended from the Temple of the Eternal Flame, the world below seemed to have transformed. Though he knew it was he who had changed, each step was a testament to the journey he had undertaken. a journey that was both external and deeply internal. Sitting under the familiar branches of the tree he had planted in the Garden of Dreams, Aarav reflected on the lessons he had learned. He thought of the fear he had faced at the edge of whispers, the resilience he had built in the wake of the flood, the power of imagination he had harnessed in the Garden of Dreams, and the profound peace he had discovered in the practice of non-resistance at the Whispering Falls. Each experience, each lesson was like a piece of a puzzle that had slowly come together to form a picture of enlightenment. Aarav realized that enlightenment was not a destination, but a state of being. It was a continuous process of growing, learning, and transcending the limitations of the self. He had learned to live in harmony with the world, to face challenges with a calm mind and a courageous heart, and to use his powers of imagination and determination for the greater good. Master Li, observing Aarav's contemplation, approached him. "What have you learned, Aarav?" he asked. Aarav replied, "I have learned that enlightenment is not just about understanding the world, but about understanding and transforming oneself. It's about living each moment with mindfulness, compassion, and a deep connection to all life." Master Li nodded, a glimmer of pride in his eyes. "And what will you do with this understanding?" Aarav's response was filled with resolve. "I will share it, Master Li. Just as you have guided me, I will guide others. I will spread the light of the knowledge you have bestowed upon me." In the days that followed, Aarav began teaching others in the village, sharing the wisdom he had acquired. He spoke of the importance of facing fears, the power of positive thinking, the strength found in forgiveness, and the peace that comes from living in harmony with the world. The conclusion of Aarav's journey was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. He had achieved a state of enlightenment, but it was an enlightenment that did not culminate in a seclusion or withdrawal from the world. Instead, it was an enlightenment that propelled him back into the world, ready to share his knowledge, to uplift others, and to continue growing and learning himself. Epilog. Years had passed since Aarav first set foot on his journey to enlightenment. The village of eternal harmony had not only recovered from the flood, but had flourished, becoming a symbol of hope and wisdom under Aarav's guidance. The once young and eager student had now become a revered mentor, his story a source of inspiration for many. On a serene afternoon, beneath the ancient tree in the Garden of Dreams, now towering and majestic, Aarav sat with a young girl named Leela, who had come to him much like he had once gone to Master Li. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, mirroring Aarav's own from years past. As they spoke, Aarav shared the lessons of his journey, each story a pearl of wisdom from his vast sea of experience. He spoke of the challenges he had faced, the obstacles he had overcome, and the profound truths he had uncovered. To Leela, these were not just tales, but pathways to her own journey of discovery. Aarav saw in Leela the same spark that had ignited his quest, the same yearning for enlightenment that had driven him to seek Master Li. He recognized the cycle of wisdom, unbroken and eternal, passing from one generation to the next. In the distance, the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the village, illuminating the faces of Aarav and Leela. The scene was a perfect reflection of the cycle of life and learning, the old sharing with the new, the experienced guiding the novice. As the day drew to a close, Aarav gave Leela a small leather-bound book. "This," he said, "contains the essence of what I have learned. One day you will add your own chapters to it and pass it on to another." You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.